Thanks everybody for your patience. Tonight's attendance, 16,516, making it the largest UFC event at MGM and also the largest UFC event in Las Vegas. Gate was $10.1 million, $50,000 bonuses. Fight of the night, Weidman versus Rockhold. And performances of the night, Conor McGregor and Leonardo Santos. One transport tonight, Chris Weidman has been taken to a local hospital to be checked out. Who's got the first question?
Me.
Hi, Kat.
For the new champion. Luke, first of all, right in front of you. Just your right in front. Congratulations. You were limping. What was going on that was causing you to limp there?
I kick with my left foot. Everyone knows that. I like the left kick. I kicked a couple elbows, and I think he checked me once or something. I don't know. It hurts. It hurts, and it is what it is.
Can you, first of all, comment what this means to you? Because you seem like you were kind of bitter from the moment you got in UFC. Like you felt like you weren't getting enough credit, that people weren't recognizing the ability you had. And you even said at the press conference the other day that you hadn't faced anybody as tough as Tim Kennedy and Jacare. And I wonder sort of where that attitude came from. And do you feel like, you know, you proved any point tonight?
Yeah. I've been saying it for a long time. I believed I've been the best. I believe I've been the best in this sport for a long time. And you know, people want to beat down my Strikeforce accomplishments, what I did, and you know, I've taken my game to a new level. I said this last night, and I knew I'd come in there and I'd outperform them and get the job done, no matter what I faced going into this fight.
And Luke, if you could, at the end of the first round, you know, he was on your back a lot there. Were you ever in trouble? And then when you got the choke on him, did you feel that was in? And did you feel there was any chance of getting a submission in the first round at all?
I knew I wasn't in trouble. I was just kind of feeling him out on the back. I wanted to see his positioning and his pressure and just get a little feel for the fight. I had him in the guillotine. Once I felt him on my back, I knew that he wasn't going to be able to advance and do anything. I really knew I had a big advantage there. I mean, it's funny, and just in positions like that, you already know. Yeah, the guillotine, I rolled him over. I almost had him pretty tight. That's one of my famous moves there on my guillotine. Chris is a tough dude. He worked his way out and hung in there. I couldn't believe he came back in the fourth round.
Two other quick questions for you. One, your gym has now had 3 champions in 2015, including 2 current champions. What impact does training with Daniel and the other great fighters up there, Kane and the other great fighters, what impact does that have on your performance? And then just number 2, being part of this card with everything that Conor did to help build it up in 2 title fights and kind of a historic night, what do you think that does for your career going forward, and what kind of boost do you think that gives you?
I'm not just saying that before, you know, as I lead up to the fights. This is an iron sharpens iron world. And you can only get so good being a big fish in a small pond. I get the butterflies every day I go into training. I got to spar Kane and Cormier. And, you know, if I'm off my game, I'm going to get beat up. And so I got to raise my level every day I come in the gym. And they got to do the same. And we've been pushing each other for so long. And that's the reason why, you know, we are where we are. I think Chris will potentially better himself from this. And, you know, you got to get around the best people you can. That's the name of the game. I'm so thankful for my whole team. I think we're the best team in the world. Kane's gonna go get his belt back, and then we'll have all of them. Being a part of this card, doing it here at 194, unreal. I couldn't even imagine a bigger stage and a better opponent, and in the fight just to play out the way it did is unreal. And I'm at a loss for words. This is still trying to take it all in.
Luke, you certainly had a great win tonight, but there were some moments of adversity for you. Were there ever any moments where you thought, this is just not going to be my night?
No, I was just exhausted. I've never been that exhausted before in my life. I've been on antibiotics the last 2 weeks straight. I stopped taking them today because it was fight day. My foot was starting to swell up a little bit, especially the weigh-ins. I I didn't take them that day, and so I was on my foot, and I was so depleted and didn't want to get the antibiotics in my body, and my foot started swelling up and tightening up last night. I got cellulitis, basically. It's kind of like staph, I guess. But it takes over your whole foot, and it's just been draining my body, and it's been affecting me, and so I just had to fight through it and just make it happen. I knew I was going to go in there. I was going to try to execute, relatively early, so before that would affect me, and unfortunately it didn't happen that quick. I just had to suck it up, man. It's tough. It's been draining my body, so I'm glad that I got the job done and go out there and perform better next time.
The one controversial moment was the stand-up from the guillotine. Obviously, it was on the opposite side of your body, so tough to finish there. What was going through your head? Did you think, okay, I understand why he's standing up, or were you frustrated at that moment?
No, I could have worked my way out. It just took a lot of energy, and I was so focused on relaxation and conserving energy because I knew that I was on antibiotics and had the infection and everything, and so I wasn't gonna do anything to exert myself in this fight. That's always my main focus. I don't fight the wrestling, flow with it, reverse it, and not, overexert myself because I knew that I would have nothing left later on. And so I was just holding position with the guillotine. I was trying to relax through it, and Chris wasn't advancing, so I was happy to get stand up and just move around. So.
Perfect. Thanks, Luke. Just Dave, if I could quickly for you, certainly we would normally ask Dana, but obviously you're always in close communication with him. There seems to be a lot of talk. People wonder, Conor's the big story. What's next for Conor? Is Jose worthy of a rematch after a decade without being beaten? Is Frankie hanging in the wings? And then we hear rumors that Kavanaugh's saying that he can't get to 145 anymore. Did Dana give you any indication before he took off of what the likely scenario is next?
Yeah, he laid out two scenarios. One scenario is he stays at 45 and fights Frankie Edgar. The second scenario is potentially vacating that title and then moving up and getting the next shot following the Fox card next weekend between Cerrone and Dos Anjos. So those are the two scenarios. Dana doesn't like to make fights on the night of a fight, but that's how he laid it out for several of the TV partners backstage.
Did you make any mention of Croke Park?
He did not, but I imagine the Irish fans who are currently parading in the MGM lobby will.
Thank you. Just one last question for you, Dave. Any indication, preliminary indicators of how this thing is trending, where this thing ranks among the year's pay-per-views, maybe even among all-time pay-per-views?
It's very likely to be the biggest pay-per-view of 2015, and it could be the biggest pay-per-view of all time. The metrics are off the charts. It will surpass any records we've ever done commercially. The web traffic has just been enormous, and 194 has been a good week for us here.
Thank you. And if I just could quickly for Demian, 4 fights in a row. It seems like you keep getting better and better every time. 38 years old, maybe fighting the best of your career. What's the key to your success right now?
I think it's my team, My team bring me the better out of me every time. Since Eduardo took my career, my manager and head coach, when I dropped to the welterweight division, he's focused on, give the right strategy and work. Our training camp is very, very methodic. We don't do things just to do. We bring guys that we need. We do, every day I have the trainings that I gotta do every day and the intensity of which training. So that's make me better and better. And I'm feeling better, every day. I think I'm in my prime right now. And like I said, I wanna go for the title. I wanna have this chance. I truly believe, from the bottom of my heart that I can beat anyone. I had 9 fights in this division. I won 7 fights with dominant performance. I won every round of those fights. Even, many fights they said I was going to lose, like this one. And the fight that I lost was to Rory, and was fight of the night, and I won, 1 round dominant. And the other fight that I lose, I don't think I lose against Jake Shields. Wasn't a good fight, but okay. That's it. And he was a great guy. He won Robbie Lawler, and he won Dan Henderson, many guys. So, I think, I have the tools to be champion in this weight category.
Thank you. Just lastly for Urijah, big win for you tonight. Are you planning on being cage side for the next title fight? And do you have a preference? Would you rather have the old rival, or would you rather have the old friend?
I would say the one that everybody wants to see is the classic story. It's like a mix between Rocky 4 and Rocky 5. My boy Stallone actually left a voice message, and I gave a little Rocky Balboa shout out there. And, I really, it doesn't matter too much to me. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. And fighting for the title is what my goal is. And, I took myself off the market for a while. And it's kind of a weird thing when you've been, at the top of any division you've been in your entire career to kind of like take a back seat because of friendship, and that's off the table now. I've been released from the friendship, so I'm gonna train my butt off, and I'm hoping I get that call, and I'll be ready. And Cruz is dope. TJ, I can't relate to the guy. I'm looking forward to a good fight.
Question for Luke Rockhold. Luke, over to your right. You and DC are obviously very close, very good friends. I was curious, what did he say to you? Obviously, he ran right in, gave you a hug. What kind of words did you guys exchange in there? I know you were kind of the same way when he won his title.
I have no fucking idea. There's not much to be said at that point. We've been through everything together. Living in the garage and at Bob Cook's house and playing video games, sitting on the floor. It's been a long road, living in the gym together, and it's not always so glamorous, but it's just amazing. It's can't put into words what it feels like to, from the bottom to the top. It's an amazing thing. A lot of gold now. The silver watch has got to go. I need some gold ones.
Obviously, for the most part, after the first round, it was a pretty dominant performance. You won the second. Obviously, you could have finished him in the third. Most people thought it could have been over at that moment. You finished him in the fourth. But do you believe after fighting Chris Weidman and seeing what he's done, do you feel like you will see him again at some point in the future?
I know he's a tough guy, and I think he's a cut above, technically and obviously toughness. But like I said, I wasn't joking when I said that before. I really believe that I'll have the advantage wherever this fight goes every time we get in there, and I think he'll come back, but I'll put him right back down. I got a lot of respect for him, but these guys aren't competing with me. I don't see anybody out there.
Question for Yoel Romero. Yoel, congrats on the victory, of course. Obviously, this seems like now you are the number one contender. So I'm curious, your thoughts on fighting for the title next, and what did you think of Luke's performance, assuming you saw it?
Muchas felicidades con ganar hoy.
Thank you.
¿Cuáles son tus pensamientos ahora que eres el número uno y qué piensas en pelear contra Luke Rockhold?
Sorry. Bueno, primeramente que ha sido el trabajo de muchas personas.
First and foremost, it's been the job of many people.
Nada se logra solo.
Nothing is attained by yourself.
Mis compañeros de trabajo, mi team, mis entrenadores, mis training partners.
His training partners, his team, everyone involved.
Mi hija, mi esposa.
His wife, his daughter.
Toda esta gente han tenido que ver con este resultado.
All these people have to do with these results.
Y si estoy aquí es porque me lo he ganado.
And if I'm here, it's because I've won it.
Y estoy aquí para lo que se avecine.
And I'm here for whatever may come.
Si es un título, pues a pelear por el título.
If it's for a title, I'm going to fight for a title.
Con los mismos deseos.
With the same wants.
Con los mismos focus.
With the same focus.
Y las mismas ganas.
And the same need.
And a question for Urijah. You stepped up in May. You fought Frankie Edgar at 145. Then you did the Ultimate Fighter, and I know that kind of came together almost short notice after everything that happened with José the last time. You kind of put your career on hold then too. Do you feel like you kind of got back on track where you wanted to be? You've said numerous times you want to be champion again. Do you feel like you did kind of define that tonight with the win you have, and obviously the situation you have with both Dominic and TJ?
I think so, but I don't make those decisions. Like I said, there's a couple fights that get me real excited. That was my 41st fight, which is crazy. I remember being here for some massive fights when I first started in 2003 and 2004, and just to see it all pan out is just crazy. Going up to 145s, being a little bit older, I was surprised at my weight. I made an effort to get bigger, and my weight stayed up, so it was rough. I had some injuries going in, so I wasn't able to run this whole camp, and so I had to get my weight down, basically 28 pounds, over the last 10 weeks. So, but yeah, I felt good. You know, I feel like, you know, I'm right where I need to be. And like I said, I'm not trying to hang out here forever. I just want the fights that matter to me, and the fight that matter to the organization and the fans. And I don't think there's any secret what people want to see.
And one quick question for Tecia Torres. Congrats on the win, of course. Probably, you know, your strongest performance to date in the octagon, especially in that third round. But I'm curious, you know, you've continuously asked for top 10 opponents. And, you know, even Michelle Waterson, you know, she's right on the cusp of that. Then she drops out, you get a new opponent. You know, you have a win over Rose Namajunas, you have a win over Paige Van Zandt. Do you feel like, you know, now at this point you deserve, you know, to get one of those fights that you just can't seem to get?
Yeah, for sure. I really wanted to fight Michelle Waterson. You know, she's a former Invicta champion. I thought that was a great matchup. Unfortunately, she fell with injury. I thought Jocelyn would be another great matchup. I think she was, but unfortunately she fell short, and I felt like it was one of my more dominant wins. And yeah, my next fight, I hope I do get a top 10 at least, at the very least, maybe a top 5 opponent, so I can just showcase some more of what I can do.
Question for Lou. To your left. Hey, congrats.
Thank you.
Any kind of little bit of a redemption that the fight seemed to, I don't want to say turn, because it's not like you were losing necessarily up to that point, but the key moment in the fight was him throwing a spinning wheel kick. Is there any sort of redemption in that for you, or are you so far removed from that it doesn't even cross your mind?
I'm blessed that happened. That changed me and matured me, and it turned me into a different fighter. I embrace that. I love that. Of course, I want revenge, you know. But you know, I don't think that was the exact turning point. I mean, it definitely had a role. You know, I rocked him earlier in the fight too. You know, I felt good. I felt like I had the upper hand. You know, even with obviously the setback I had. So, you know, I wish I would have had a little more energy to put it on him and I'll be better next time, no doubt.
And then just real quickly for you, Urijah, you said you, right here, you left. You said you were hoping that you get that call to face the winner in January. I mean, is that basically what you're expecting at this point? I mean, you know how the sport works. You know, you have a history with both those guys. Are you pretty confident in there that you have a title shot at 135?
I would be pretty confident, yeah. I mean, really, TJ's the champ. He's been on my team for the last 6 years. Cruz, we're 1-1. And I feel like I put more of a beating on him than he did me. He etched out some takedowns in the 5th round and had a little higher punch count, I guess. But then Rafael Souza is ranked above me. I have a win over him, and he has a win over TJ. And I think I heard Barrow's going up. I don't know if that's true or not. But, you know, so makes sense to me. And, you know, I'm ready for that.
Question back here from Max. Congratulations, 8th straight victory. Back here, 8th straight victory. You seemed disappointed with your performance in the cage. What was it about the fight that left you frustrated and not feeling like it was your best performance?
You know, I fight to finish, you know. At the end of the day, I fight to finish, and I want to make my case, you know, for that next title shot, you know. You got this guy going around, they got the belt that no one can handle his left hand. If you watch back to our fight, one guy fell down, and his name wasn't Max Holloway, so I'll leave it there.
You heard earlier Dave say that, you know, there's 2 scenarios for Conor, one of them being Frankie, but one of them being going up to 55 and vacating that belt. If that happens, I assume Max Holloway, Frankie Edgar for a vacant title sounds pretty good to you.
Look, Holloway versus McGregor 2, Croke Park, I think we sell that thing out, you know. You know, I actually give him, I'm the only guy that actually gave him a fight. And then, you know, if he moves up, Edgar versus Holloway, UFC Hawaii, you know, we can get one back for BJ Penn. Whatever happens, whatever floats his boat, whatever Dana White them want, I'm ready, you know. I'm here, I've been winning. Me and Conor lead the division in wins right now, so, you know, why not me and him? And if he leaves, then I'm glad with Frankie. Let's do that UFC Hawaii. They keep talking about UFC Hawaii. Let's make it happen. We got a stadium down there, 50,000 plus. Let's do it.
Question for Dave over here. See, over here, front row. to your left.
Oh, there you are.
Is the fight between Yoel and Rockhold official?
No.
Rockhold, what do you think about Yoel's performance? Did you get time to see it?
Yeah, I saw it. It was a good. I mean, it was. I love Yoel. You know, he put on it. He's a very slick cat. But he better work on his cardio, because I could have staph infection all the time, buddy. I'm gonna keep pushing this fight. So you know, he's a tough dude. We'll see what happens. I'm in for a big fight. I want a big fight. The middleweight division is in a weird place now. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the boss wants. Obviously, I want a big fight. I want a fight that will be great for the fans, and we'll see. That was I'll leave it at that.
And the same question for you. What do you think about Rockhold's performance?
¿Qué piensas de cómo peleó Rockhold?
Fantástico peleador.
Fantastic fighter.
Question for Luke Rockhold. Luke, were you surprised that the fight was not stopped at all at the end of the third round? It looked like it was very close to being finished at that point.
Yeah, I definitely thought the fight should have been stopped. I was actually thought it was stopped. I was in between whether the round was over or the fight was stopped. He was kind of waving it, so I was peeking over. I was hoping they would just stop the fight. I had nothing left in me, and then it was quite the adrenaline jump, realizing he was coming back after me in the fourth, and the man obviously came with it. Yeah, I thought it should have been stopped. It's tough because I'm the same guy. I'm going to go out on my shield too. I want to be done, finished. But I mean, he took a lot of damage. It's not my job. It's not my call.
And one more for you, Luke. As far as what's next for you, obviously we've been talking about Yoel and his title prospects, but also you've got a loss to avenge over Vitor Belfort. Would that be a fight that would interest you, and do you think he would be deserving of a title shot at this point?
Vitor Belfort on a silver platter would be a beautiful thing. I would love it. I don't know if he's booked with Anderson, or what's that? No? I don't know. No? Hey. Yoel's a tough dude. I'll let the boss choose.
Question for...
That fight will happen. Me and Yoel will have to fight. We know this is coming.
Vamos a tener que pelear. Sabemos que eso viene.
A question for Urijah Faber. Urijah, coming out on top in a war like you had with Frankie Saenz, you talked about kind of taking yourself off the market for the title picture. Now you're back on. Does it help you personally to gear up for another run when you have a war with a guy like Saenz, as opposed to, if you had a win tonight, but it maybe otherwise wouldn't have been a particularly memorable occasion? Obviously this one was.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got the assignment against Saenz, I looked him up, and you don't really know my background in wrestling. I went in, walked onto a team at UC Davis, and became a starter there. But Saenz was a super decorated high school wrestler. Only had 2 losses in his high school career. He was placed in the national tournament. I knew right off the bat that I was in for a tremendous war with a mentally strong, physically strong, technical guy. And honestly, I kept thinking in the third round, this felt exactly like morning sprints in college. I remember our coach would be like, one more thing, time mile, run your fastest mile and feel like your head's gonna pop and your lungs are blown out, and then he'd be like, all right, we're doing one more short practice day, one more thing, another time mile, you have to get within 20 seconds your last time. And I was just feeling those lungs and my friggin' head pounding, and that's something that a lot of people aren't familiar with. It was good to get to that place, because you can only get to that place on accident. You don't like to put yourself in that position. You can try to emulate it, but it's very hard. So having a war like that with another tough opponent was very tough. And the other thing is, I'm so pumped about the PED testing. For those who know me, I've been straight and narrow my entire career, and I think I would like to do the ice bucket lie detector PED challenge to anybody in the top 10 of the UFC. Let's do a lie detector test and see who's been cheating and who's not. And I think that's going to play in my favor.
And if I could finish with Dave Sholler. Dave, these last 3 days, don't see how they could have been more successful. 3 straight nights of fights, sellouts, title changes, very compelling fights. Will we see this type of a 3-night run scenario repeat itself in July around UFC 200?
Well, first and foremost, Richard, it's a great opportunity to thank our staff. I mean, this was just a Herculean effort by everyone involved. We had not only our Las Vegas teams, but our global teams that supported us, and then the fighters. And one of the crazy things is all 3 cards, everyone made weight, everyone made it on time. Yes, you'll see it again. I don't know when, but you know us. We always like to outdo ourselves.
And last one for you. We're used to, in the UFC, seeing compelling fights made pretty quickly. And in this particular case, I'm referencing Conor McGregor. There's a lot of possibilities for him, those 2 scenarios you just laid out. But he has told us in the media that he is on his way to signing a monster contract. Is there any chance that there could be a scenario where there would be protracted financial negotiations with Conor that could delay his return?
I don't think so. No.
Thanks.
Guys, what we're going to do is I'm going to let this group go. Connor's about 5 to 7 minutes away. Karen, I'll let you go ahead and have the last question.
Okay, great. Demian, right here. Hey. Was there any frustration with getting booked on the Gunnar Nelson fight so quickly after your victory over Miles Jury? I mean, sorry, Ryan LaFleur.
Over Magny, New Magny.
Magny, my goodness, I can't remember. You guys fight so much. But it seemed like it was booked really right away, and I don't know if you wanted that fight, if you wanted it that quickly.
Yeah, the thing was like when they tried to book it that for October. They asked us for October, and I had a staph infection in my leg. And you know when we couldn't fight, we changed for this fight, which was great for me. But I don't care. I think Gunnar is a great fighter. He has lost just once, and he asked for this fight. I didn't ask. I want to fight. I want to fight a guy that could ride me to the title, but he asked for the fight, and the last fights, everybody was asking to fight me. I went there, I did my job, I won, and it was funny, like I said, I don't know how the ranking works because I won against Neil Magny, I submit him, I got the performance of the night bonus, and I still number 6 in the world. And after that, Magny won Eric Silva, and Magny won Gastelum. And actually, Gastelum, after Magny won him, he got 2 positions better, And for me, I submit Magny, and, I still number 6. I don't know what's happened with these rankings. I think these rankings should be more exact. I think it would be like a mathematical form, something like that. And depends who you win, you get better. It's not just I'm wondering who is better and who's not better, because everybody gets influenced by the marketing and by everything. And I don't care. I know my performance all my performances in these weight divisions were dominant. Every time I won, I won with no chance for my opponents. And like I said, I wanna, I'm doing. Running for the title. I did at the 185, and now I'm much better fighter. I'm much better athlete, much better everything. And I know I have the chance.
My other question to you is, Gunnar had said that he wanted to engage with you. He wanted to try his jiu-jitsu versus yours. Everybody knew it would be this great grappling fight. Was there a point, though, after the first round where you expected him to just want to do a stand-up fight from there on in?
Yeah,
Did you really believe him?
I really thought he wouldn't go for jiu-jitsu with me. I thought, he was going to start to stand up because he thought he was better standing up. But for me, since I started training for this camp, my goal was to take him down. He did well defending. Actually, he swept me sometimes. And the difference of this fight is that he has a awkward, stand up. So it's hard to train a guy like that. We bring some Shotokan karate guys to my academy to train. And also, on the ground, I knew normally when I put the guys down is when the fight start getting easier for me. But with him, I knew it was going to be different. But, you know, I was able to do well. I was able to sweep, go to his back and do my job. And, you know, I tried go to the arm, didn't work. You know, I tried to submit, but, you know, I did my best, and that's it.
Thank you. And lastly, real quick for you, Urijah, it was kind of a tough week leading into your fight for Team Alpha Male with Paige and with Chad. I'm just curious your thoughts on Chad's loss in particular. You know, just how do you feel about that?
It's just, it's really frustrating. I mean, you know, these 4-ounce gloves, that anything can happen, and props to Frankie, man. Frankie is, you know, he's the guy that doesn't quit training. He doesn't stop progressing. He doesn't take time off, and that could have been anybody's exchange, and he clipped him in a real strange way. It was just right on the, like, nicked his upper lip and put Chad down, which is sad for Chad because, I mean, there's a lot of build-up. I mean, after you saw how he was on 2 weeks' notice with Conor, you know, stepping in there, his fight with Aldo, you know, Chad, people are going to be jumping out of the weight class and doing this and doing that. I would love to see Chad stay in there and get another shot with Frankie coming up, or do something big. And it was, you know, I was thinking about that in my fight. I need to get morale up, and it was motivating for me. I mean, that's one of the coolest things about being a part of a team is it's more than just you. It's somebody, you know, you have a family, you have a support system, and yeah, it was rough.
And after your guy won the Ultimate Fighter, can you admit that you actually like Conor?
Yeah, I like Conor. Conor's a good guy. We had some good times in Vegas. You know, not that he can't get on your nerves, but I enjoy his mindset. He's a special guy, and man, really feel for Aldo. What a great champion. You know, hopefully he gets his chance. I mean, I think Frankie's up next, but hopefully he gets his chance for redemption. But man, can't argue with Conor, dude. The Mystic Mac.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back in a few minutes with Conor. Thanks, guys.